Years ago, I ventured into a canyon, alone. I thought I saw something perched high on a cliff. I looked closer. It was an ancient ruin of some kind. I assessed the climb to reach it, and I backed down. It looked too intimidating. But I'm not who I was back then. I've often thought about returning to this place and figuring out once and for all what's in this remote canyon. So, I went backpacking. In order to get the footage I want while filming, I've accumulated quite a bit of camera gear. I learned pretty quickly I have to have a way to charge all of this while I'm on the go. And that's where the Andes 1500 by Ampace comes in. I'd like to thank Ampace for sponsoring this video. The Andes 1500 is a rechargeable and portable lithium-ion battery. This thing is an absolute workhorse. It's got 13 different charging ports, can output 2400 watts of power, and fully charges in only 55 minutes. It's honestly pretty crazy. It's got everything I need, whether I'm on the go or at home. The technology in these batteries has advanced so much that people are now replacing backup generators in their homes with these in case of emergency. Finally, last dish of the night. Are you kidding me? I gotta find a light in here or something. Well, guess that's gonna have to do for the rest of the night.
What's going on over there? Don't you remember we've got the Ampace now? I'm watching some Desert Drifter reruns. Oh, our bagel's ready.
Wow. But this is no joke. The Andes 1500 can power 99% of household appliances. If you're looking for a portable battery solution with over a 10-year lifespan, I check out Ampace. To get access to an exclusive discount, head over to ampacepower.com via the link below and check out the Andes 1500 for yourself. See you tomorrow, Subaru. Put that thing through the paces getting in here. It might take a little work with the shovel tomorrow, but I think we're gonna get out of here. Be pretty bad if not. There is the sandstone paradise we're heading into. I've been thinking about this spot for quite some time, so it's fun to actually be heading in and hopefully laying eyes on it again. Thinking my eye spotted something, I pulled the binoculars out. You guys see sort of in that shadow, there's definitely a ruin there. My eyes first spotted it, but it was so far away I couldn't really tell. But the binos definitely confirmed it. All right, down here at the bottom. Man, it's a pretty place. There's some little minnows down there. Don't let the beauty fool you. It was hot. And the heat's dangerous this time of year. I knew I'd have to be smart about that the entire trip. Evaporative cooling is a wonderful thing. Well, I want to work my way off into this area in front of me. I kept working in the direction of whatever it was that I spotted higher up. Well, Houston, we have a problem. Assuming that's the same rune I saw a while back, I've overshot it by probably, I don't know, 150, 200 feet. There was an alcove I had seen across the way as well. It also looks like there's something in that. So what I need to do is try to find a way down. I've taken a roundabout way, but man, getting to this thing is a journey in of itself. Well, it took some shenanigans, but I think I'm now finally down on the proper layer. I was coming up this rise and I was thinking, man, this is a lot of work for what? And then I topped out and looked up there and I see all that rock art. It looks like a bunch of pictographs. Just never gets old, you know. And look right below it. This is definitely got a serrated edge here. Some old stone knife for sure, or tool that's broken. Here's a little dose of desert reality for you. Get off me, you bugger. That's a different style of pottery than I'm used to seeing. I don't know what that is. Point of some kind. I don't know if it was ever finished, or maybe it was just a rudimentary knife or something. Here's another of that kind of whitish orange pottery. That piece is pretty thin. I'll have to look that up in a book. Really beautiful piece of corrugated style pottery. This is kind of cool. It's just like a little shoot through here. The rune is just off over here to the right, but it makes me wonder how many people have passed through this. And here we are. Man, that was deceptively tricky to get to. Wow. (1942) and 1946, during and right after World War II. I know it was different times then, different ethics, but I still think it's a shame they had to put it right over the previous artwork. People have been traveling these canyons for a long time. The rock art here really makes this site special. To see this yellow pigment mixed with the red and even almost looks like kind of an orange up there, doesn't it?
I've seen this a few other times. It's clearly made by throwing balls of clay onto the wall and roof of an overhang. This one stretched particularly high. Why they did it, I don't know.
And there's more down here. Some very deep sharpening grooves. Wow, these guys are fascinating, particularly because they've got, like a human hand at the end of their arm, or at least some of them do.
It was an interesting observation. There seemed to be an abnormal emphasis with handprints at the site. There's the obvious cluster of hands, which, although haunting, isn't that uncommon. But I don't think I've ever seen so many other figures with articulated hands. I have no idea what it means, but I certainly sat there, wondering.
All right, I want to work around this ledge and see if we can find that other site, that one in the alcove. The sun is harsh, but there is definitely something up there. Pretty beat down by time. Oh, look at that spider. Oh, it's a black widow. Look at its the camera's struggling to focus a bit, but definitely a red hourglass under there. Moving down from the black widow, so I noticed there's still a lot of plaster that runs along this wall here. It leads me to think that at one time maybe this entire wall was covered, perhaps because there were other structures that came out on the ledge here. They've just fallen down. Oh yeah, there's still a little bit on the floor here as well. All that's left is this person's finger swipes. Who knows how many centuries ago.
I tried to be present and take this sight in, but my mind kept drifting to what I anticipated the next day. As the evening sunlight bathed the canyon walls, I couldn't shake the question in my mind. Would I be prepared for the challenge tomorrow?
Well, I better head on back to the creek and find a campsite so I can get some water. I think this will do.
After a quick, fidgety dinner, I laid down in the tent, hoping I could get some sleep.
I see some morning light on the canyon walls over there, so I guess I better get up. Well, good morning. The birds didn't let me sleep past 4:45, so I guess I better get up. I see some light up there on the canyon wall, so want to Want to get an early start today.
Getting breakfast going. Again, it's just a quick thing this morning. Some biscuits and gravy. Got my water filtered, so yeah, gonna eat this, pack up that, and hit the trail. All right, let's roll. You know, I've thought of this thing off and on for a number of years, and time is a funny thing. When I saw it, I remember thinking it just looked really intimidating to get to, but I was a lot less comfortable traveling solo, scrambling, climbing, and whatnot back then. So I wonder, am I gonna look at it today and be like, oh, you know, that's, that's nothing, or, you know, is it still gonna look really intimidating? I also just remember being, you know, so wowed by the fact, like it seems so high up to me. And again, I don't really remember how high it was off the canyon bottom. And so, I don't know, I guess we're gonna go find out. That is a huge ponderosa pine. Some people call them vanilla pines because if you smell their bark, it's got a vanilla taste to it. So good. Okay, I finally spotted it. It's kind of where I remember and kind of different. Like I said earlier, time is a funny thing, isn't it? But there it is, up under that overhang. Definitely looks like a puzzle to get there because you've got that cliff band that you can't get up there. So I'm gonna see if I can find some way around that. Let's see how far this drainage will lead me up. It's relatively easy walking with the sandstone. One of the issues I've been having all trip is every type of sandstone has its own characteristics. You know, some is harder than others softer or more brittle. You know, the harder a rock is, generally the more trustworthy it is and easier it is to climb. This type of sandstone, I don't have a lot of experience on it, but I'm not very impressed. It's pretty brittle and sandy, and I had a few chunks break off on me yesterday. So, you know, I'm kind of extra cautious. There's certain things that I might normally go up, but you know, I've sort of been trying to avoid. It ain't easy. This butterfly's been dancing around me the last 30 minutes or so. Big old monarch. This isn't particularly dangerous, it's just really loose. It's steep. Case in point. One step forward,
2 steps back. All right, I'm directly below it, but it's hard to tell. I mean, this over here does not look promising, but there's a big kind of block here. So I think I've got to get around that to get a better assessment, but yeah, it's a bit of a puzzle getting up here. Well, it wasn't easy getting to this point, but I think that's gonna go right there. Directly below it, I'm starting to see pottery like you would expect. There's a pretty big piece up under this manzanita. Oh wow, look at that. That is very pretty. Well, it was years in the making, but here I am. So these are the foundation of some building that my guess is would have probably stretched all the way to the ones that are still standing. This is the far left side of it if you were looking up at it. There's kind of a curious little hole down here. Not sure if that would have been for ventilation or something else. A ways away from the ruin, sort of down on the next shelf, there's an old broken metate here.
I had finally arrived. Arrived at what? Was the ruin itself what I was really searching for after all? As I looked around at the remnants of what once was, I pondered the reason I do all of this in the first place. Confucius once said, "By 3 methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest." These open, desert spaces provide opportunities for all 3 of those. And they always beckon me to return. As long as I am able, I will answer their call to discover more about myself and the people who have called this place home. As you join me, my hope is for you too to find space for reflection and the pursuit of wisdom. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey.